No way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Oopsies, had the mute on. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am today's host, Jose Galison. Maybe we'll get Austin join us later. Who knows? We'll see. That's part of the fun here. See everyone in the chat that has showed up. See J Pro Plumbing. What is up? See Voodoo. See Arcane saying is feeling Corbo is going to start his TLC show in the middle of it. Maybe he will. But I don't know. I mean, hey, you can come back to one or the other. It's fine. We can both exist. This town is big enough for the both of us. Doc Tori's in here saying Septard. See Tyler. Good morning. Good morning, Bobo Mikua. Also, I want to say good morning to whoever went through on Rumble and like literally 200 episodes yesterday. Went individually and dropped replies for the algorithm, comment for the algorithm throughout like 200 episodes. That's probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen someone do. That was wild. I got notifications for that on my phone for about a good 3 hours. That was you, Bobo? No way. All right. I mean, it checks out. That isn't some insane thing to do. What's up, Eddie? All right, guys. While we wait for more of y'all to roll in, which seems, plenty of y'all are in here already, but, hey, we'll wait for some more people. Plus, I got to pay the bills anyways. So let's take a moment, and I do want to remind you guys today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Nadeau Shave Co. If you're tired of that razor burn irritation and those ingrown hairs caused by those deep penetrating multi-blade cartridges, then this is the way to go. You can go back to traditional shave. You can shave just like your grandpa used to. Whether you're shaving your whole face or edging up your beard, the single blades give you a barber-grade shave for a fraction of the price. The standard issue gives you one traditional safety razor and a box of 100 stainless steel razor blades. That puts you out about $75, and the estimate that's supposed to last a year. Let's be real, it's probably going to last you a lot longer. It definitely has for me, but if you are someone who shaves on the reg, daily or almost daily, then you may want to consider the Quarter Shave Club, because the standard issue probably won't cut it then. Also, I do want to let you guys know that he has shave soaps. He also has 3-in-1 body, hair, and face soaps as well. It feels great for shaving with, smells great. It's also a COVID mandate refusing company. This company is born refusing the mandate. So, just to recap, better product, cheaper product, from a company that doesn't hate you, and then on top of all that, you can get another 10%. You can get an additional 10% off if you use Jose to check out for your order. With that, let's go ahead and get back into it. Check in on y'all. All right. So, that's he's saying, I promise I wasn't schizo. I just weaponized my autism in time. Hey, sure. I don't know if you figured out some sort of way to do that quicker, like a bot, but if you did that manually, that is insane. Everyone is in here this morning. Yeah, all of y'all are up in this motherfucker. Over at most of y'all over at Rumble, so this is cool. I like that we're garnering a bit of a following over there at Rumble. It does not as much. I don't even think I've even cracked 1,000 over there, but it's still like you guys show out compared to my YouTube. So hey, fuck yeah. With that, guys, let's get into some content for today. Today's a pretty positive day. I mean, between today and yesterday, pretty positive developments have come out. I'll just go ahead and show you the homepage of antiwar.com here. There's a few different things I want to go through with you guys. No, actually, let's just to start off the first one. Let's move over to here instead. Actually, one of the first stories is on the Ukraine-Russia front. Here is a lengthy, I believe, I don't know if this is on Twitter or if this was put out on Truth or what, but Elon reposted it, with a screenshot of it. So I'm going to read it real quick. This is in relation to Russia and Ukraine. All right, Donald Trump. I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar, and various other subjects. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact that we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people and we likewise lost so many. We each talked about the strengths of our respective nations and the great benefit that we will someday have in working together. But first, as we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia/Ukraine. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense. We both believe very strongly in it. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We have also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately, and we will begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversations, something which I will be doing right now. I have asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly will be successful. Millions of people have died in a war that would not have happened if I were president, but it did happen, so it must end. No more lives should be lost. I want to thank President Putin for his time and effort with respect to this call and for the release yesterday of Mark Fogel, a wonderful man that I personally greeted last night at the White House. I believe this effort will lead to successful conclusion, hopefully soon. Now, I haven't been following, I didn't hear anything about this Fogel thing before. I remember I'd heard something that there was this Fogel guy over there. So I didn't know, maybe this slipped under my radar and there was news about there being some sort of, Russia giving up one of our people essentially. But either way, whether it was, in tandem with this or if it was already going to happen, that happened. So that's cool. I mean, it looks like to me, I only caveat that because it seems like the perception, not knowing any more about that, is it looks like, that was kind of like a diplomatic show of goodwill, and then they kind of had a talk, and so no, this is all good. This is great. This is great. I really have no complaints here. Like, this is just phenomenal. I mean, if anything, it's like I wish they would do more late and more earlier. I mean, we definitely could have, cut off the spigot more. I mean, I think we have dialed back some of the money we were giving these guys a little bit. Although, I guess, because I know that with a foreign aid pause, I think it did affect them somewhat, but there is like a bit of an asterisk in relation to Ukraine when it came to that foreign aid pause. I think there was some stuff that was still due to like prior, agreements in military side things. It was like technically not the same since it wasn't technically a USAID. So I still think there was somehow getting military stuff. And I think we've resumed some stuff too. So point being is we're still giving these guys money. So it's like, obviously there's better things that could have been done, but like so far as like compared to what, and compared to the previous regime, or kind of even like in a matter of like what was to be expected. I mean, we knew that Trump wanted, that was kind of what he campaigned on, but like, I will say this is good. This would exceed kind of what I would have expected, to be honest. So, exceed what I expected, not to say that's obviously what I want. I really would be great if we just stopped giving these people money altogether and basically tell them to fuck off, figure it out, and then these guys would be forced to come to the table. But yeah, either way, this is great, really great. It seems like they're talking with Putin, talking about solidifying relations, all just kind of good all around. I mean, I struggle to find anything negative here. I mean, if you guys have anything on that in the chat, let me know. But either way, it's yeah. So, all right, here we go. I'm just popping out the chat, checking in on you guys. Oh, I guess Bobo said he did do it manually. I want to see the show succeed. Well, thank you. That is something special. I'm glad to see there are people like you out there that do want to see the show succeed. It was a little bit insane, but hey, if everybody went together and left comments on hundreds of my videos, it'd be an overnight success. But yeah, no, this is good stuff. Good stuff. We're looks like maybe we're moving towards finally dialing shit back over there. So, which, by the way, there has been some news that I haven't covered too much on these daily streams because there, and I kind of give a quick recap. There's been talks before this about, kind of the ideas of kick around the idea of peace with Zelensky, and then we've heard Zelensky talking about like what it would take and all. He's essentially doing the thing where like he's coming to the table to negotiate before this, and did the moves of like, well, oh, I'll give the appearance that I'm coming to make a deal, but I'm going to make such an insane ask that I know no one's going to go for it. Like I think at one point he's saying like, oh, maybe this could stop if we could get nukes, and you're like, dude, no one's going to be cool with you getting nukes. And then there was it was if we got like a UN guarantee. It's like, no, you're not getting a UN guarantee. If we get a military guarantee, none of that's happening. So those were all unrealistic asks. So none of those happened. So that's kind of where we were at. And then this is the latest development. So I mean, there were sort of talks before this, and the brinksmanship of like, you know, what are we going to bring to the table? And Ukraine wasn't being anything serious. Now, this shows, I think, a level of seriousness on our part. I mean, we still have to get Ukraine to be not retarded. But I think, especially if we tie back the payment spigot, it might really force them to come to the table. Although, I don't know. It's pretty hard because then there's also these talks, too, we've seen where the latest, I guess Trump signaled and made statements that he would be open to like precious metals deals in relation to military aid. So I don't know. That might be a way that Ukraine can keep dragging their feet and making this go. So I don't know. Also, Bobo says, I think Russia's going to get Eastern Ukraine. I think so too. I think it was Hegseth just said, made some statements about the like any like pre-2014 borders on Ukraine. Like, sorry, probably not happening. Like, that's unrealistic is what he said. So that's kind of seems to be the establishment standing right now with the big players. No, that's not realistic. You're not getting your borders back. Sorry. I mean, maybe we'll get some borders here and there, but yeah. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on there. I keep coughing, but I hope I got the mute button on all of those, but my bad. All right, yeah. So that's what's going on over there. So it looks like good things on that front. So I'm looking forward to that. But we have been covering this show how it looked like the Israel Gaza thing was getting ready to fall out. But we have right here, Israel hostage says Gaza hostage deal can continue if Hamas releases 3 on Saturday. So we had talked about this recently. I think might have been on Already Dead, maybe on these morning shows. But there was this, Trump made this weird signal, like a day or two ago, where he does a video. God, I got a coughing in my bed. All right, where was that? Okay. We did, sorry, I'm all fucked up all of a sudden. Anyways, okay, back up. Trump on like middle of the week, what was it, like he probably yesterday, maybe Tuesday, he came out, he made some sort of statement that was like kind of like, hey, Hamas should release all of the hostages, just like out of the blue. Which, for those who are unaware, like part of the terms of this deal, of the ceasefire, is there's like an established, okay, on these points we will release this many people, and they're like, you're working towards peace, and that way it's like no one does it all at once, and that way you don't have to worry about some sort of like quick deception, and somebody be like, haha, just kidding, now you have no leverage, you gave up all your fucking hostages, like, haha, fuck you. So that like nothing like that happens. But he then goes, oh, they need to give them all back, or I think Israel should just pick things back up, which is bizarre because there's already been a thing in place. Your people put it in place. This is basically kind of your plan in a roundabout way, and now you're just on a willy-nilly going, just kidding, fuck the plan. They should give us everything we want right now, or they should all fucking die. That's kind of how it came off as. And then, which was concerning, but he definitely framed it in a way of like, but this is up to Israel. This is Israel's choice, is basically how he put it. And then, unfortunately, shortly after that, probably within 24 hours, we had a statement from Netanyahu basically parroting exactly that, like they need to do this. But then all of a sudden, I guess just yesterday, it just changed. I know there are more details which we have covered, and like they were getting ready to do negotiations for the further phase of this whole, peace deal, and there were multiple reports about how that they were going to try to sabotage it, that they had sent the negotiators with no power to do anything, which I believe the negotiators, like kind of in the most recent before this rounds of negotiation, seemed that comported to reality. The negotiators also admitted that Hamas was correct when they said that Israel had broken the peace deal. the ceasefire or whatever and wasn't following up on their side of the deal. I don't believe it was in relation to the violence, which are almost to triple digits. It hit 93 yesterday. I think is what the death toll is at. In the month that there's been a ceasefire, Israel has killed 93 Palestinians. Killed. That's not like wounded, shot at, anything. They're in the hundreds when it comes to people they've attacked, hurt, whatever. But yeah, that wasn't even what the point was. I think the point was that they admitted to was in relation to tents and other things coming across the border. Essentially, they were still preventing tents, which tents or living areas like trailers, which would be useful in reconstruction and was part of the peace deal, but they didn't follow through on their end. The reason seemingly being because it's like, hey, we want these people to fuck out, so we're bringing tents and means for these people to be able to get by. Essentially, they're trying their best to try to make this as uninhabitable as possible. So let's read this article real quick. Sorry, I got all fucked. I wasn't like this before I started. All of a sudden, I got all choked up. But my bad. Sorry, I sound like shit. All right, Dave, this is from Dave. Hamas said on Wednesday that there are positive signals the 3 hostages will be released as it seeks Israel's compliance with the truce deal. Israel has sent a message to Hamas through Qatar and Egypt that if 3 Israeli hostages are released this Saturday, the ceasefire deal can continue. Axios reported Wednesday, citing a senior Israeli official, which, if I recall correctly, I believe that was the deal already. It was somewhere in the realm of 1 to 3, and I vaguely recall that was already, I believe it was supposed to be this weekend anyways. So, we were going to do it anyways. So it looks like it's just kind of going back to the deal before. So I don't know if this is a mind fuck or what deals are going on behind the scenes that have changed things, because it really seemed like things were signaling very differently. But I digress. The position is a climb down from a day earlier when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appeared to back President Trump's threat that if all remaining hostages aren't released by Saturday, the ceasefire deal would be over and Israel would restart its genocidal war. Netanyahu didn't specify how many hostages he wanted to be released, but Israeli officials speaking to the media said Israel was demanding that they all be freed. But under the deal, only 3 are supposed to be released on Saturday. So, yeah, there you go. I was correct. It was 3. 3 were supposed to be released. They're still getting released, although they made all this bluster about, they return them, all of them, although not saying specifically how much. It was up in the air. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm still all choked up. Netanyahu didn't specify how many. Okay, we already read that. Hamas announced on Monday that it was postponing the Saturday hostage release, citing Israeli ceasefire violations. Claims Israel officials have acknowledged were accurate, which we just talked about. That was in relation to the tents. Hamas has said Israel has not lived up to its commitment to allowing sufficient aid into Gaza, and one particular issue is over the lack of tents and mobile homes. Now, to be clear, the wording here, allowing, and it makes me, it would make me think that the idea is that I don't think Israel's being required to provide them. I'm assuming they're coming from elsewhere, from charity and such. Abu Bakr Abed, a Palestinian journalist in Gaza, said on Wednesday that Israel was allowing more temporary structures in the Strip. Thousands of tents and caravans have entered Gaza. The situation is becoming more stable and aid has been flowing in consistently over the past hours, he added on X. Abed added, the ceasefire will likely hold as Hamas gears up to release the 3 Israeli prisoners on Saturday in exchange for dozens of Palestinian hostages. Israel's beginning to allow a surge of aid instead of a trickle. So this is if anything, this is a very much a big reversal of where we thought this was going to go. Because, before... part of this is that Hamas did essentially said they weren't going to release any hostages, and I can't remember if this was before or after the whole Trump bluster. It was basically seemed roughly about the same time. So I'm not sure which, but there were already reports that before that they were going to sabotage the next phase and all this stuff. So it kind of makes sense that Hamas would, start getting cold feet, go, hey, what the fuck is going on? So, but my point being is this is even better, because it really seemed like all points were pointing to we're going back to hostilities. But not only are we not going back to hostilities, does it seems like we've actually been able to squeeze concessions out of Israel and get them to actually allow more aid, which this is going to be a detriment to their idea of trying to move these people, because that's, as I mentioned, this is the contention here is the tents, the living structures and stuff. So this is kind of stuff that will allow these people to continue to live where they're living. And I don't think these people are going to try to move. So we're still dealing with a boondoggle here. Despite the apparent progress, Israel continues to kill Palestinians in Gaza. At least one Palestinian was killed and several were wounded by an Israeli drone attack in Rafah. The latest Israeli drone strike brings the total number of Palestinians killed since the ceasefire was enacted on January 19th to 93. Gaza's health ministry said another 24 have died due to previously sustained wounds. So, I mean, this is an improvement. I mean, obviously things still aren't great. We also have stuff going on the West Bank right now. They're pretty much, doing some crazy shit over in the West Bank, it seems like. But all in all, things are looking up. We also got one last thing on the anti-war side of things. Tulsi Gabbard got sworn in as DNI, so that's cool. As I've talked about, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my I don't know, I definitely have my critiques or my issues with her and her stances, and have some issues where I struggle to whether I should trust her or not, and reasons to believe so as well. But generally speaking, I as I've said before, bizarrely, I've said to you guys that I actually find her to be more of an exciting pick than I find like something like an RFK. Just because kind of where she's been at politically, it seems more. She seems like someone with more of a, how do I put this, a backbone, I guess. Not to say that, like, I don't know. I know everyone brings up like, oh, well, RFK's blackmail. He's gonna, he's gonna die or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's his problem, not mine. I'm just assessing the trustworthiness of this person. I mean, that sucks. This dude's blackmailed, and maybe he really is a great guy aside from the blackmail, and like maybe probably his whole family will die if he does something crazy. But that's his problem, not mine. When it comes to assessing whether I should be excited about him, he's trustworthy, that is a factor that I take into account. And I still am like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Tulsi seems less that. I mean, don't get me wrong, she still falls in line in some political ways, but she's been in the halls of power for a little bit longer. RFK's, I mean, I guess he's old royalty, but like, I don't know. She's been playing the political game, so it's like I can give a little bit more forgiveness to some of her concessions in the past. Whether they're real or not, because of the the structure of the political apparatus before this. But now it's like RFK coming on the scene. It's like we're at a time where things are more exciting. You can be more bombastic and still get the popular support, as opposed to say when Tulsi first started her political career. So it's like I give more. I let her get away with more in that sense. Is the way I look at it. Also. Yeah, I don't feel like I don't know. It's how do I put this? I'm just more excited about her generally, so I think it's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's not a dove by any means, but she's definitely an improvement from the status quo. Is I think probably the better way to put it. All right, let's check in on you guys, see what you guys have to say. It's the Russian nanobots cough. Yeah, it's the Russians getting me, dude. This was I don't know. I started talking to them. I got all gravelly. I don't know. Maybe it's a talking thing. I don't know. Maybe I've been doing too many of these morning streams, talking to you guys every single day. All right. Here's Voodoo says, I can't believe they trusted Israel's offer. They will just unleash hell on them anyways. They always lie and backstab. I mean, typically, yeah, but I mean, they're saying the aid's already flowing through. I mean, I don't know. What do you mean by like trusting their offer? I mean, the offer was like, hey, we'll give you some people. We give you people. I mean, like if they see Israel's people and I don't know. I guess I just don't really. This is a mutual thing. It's the whole purpose of like these negotiations. Is they like. I mean, I know there's not really like a backstab here. I mean, yeah, they could backstab him in the sense of. Are you meaning like just that there's multiple people dead? Yeah, I get it. Like they haven't been following their end. I guess I didn't know. All right, maybe I'm overthinking this. I'm trying to figure out what specifically you mean. Yeah, they do. I mean, yeah, they've definitely where they can get away with it, they don't do. Oh, another story I guess is worthwhile bringing up on that note. I believe it's Lebanon. They've been supposedly. I think there's a ceasefire also there. And as part of the deal there, they were already supposed to have been out, and there was a date. I forget when it was. Maybe like weeks, months ago. I don't know. They were supposed to be out of there, and they basically dragged their feet, and then they came up with some reasons why they can't or shouldn't, and they're like, oh, we'll do it this next time, and then now the next time's already come and gone, and they're still there. They're doing the same thing over in Lebanon. They've also killed a bunch of people. I want to say it might even be more than the Gaza stuff, so, I mean, if anything, the Gaza stuff's kind of taking attention away from the Lebanon thing, so they're doing flagrant shit over in Lebanon, too. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's wild. Israel's a crazy fucking country. Dr. Roy says Israel does what they are told. Perhaps. Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre. I really don't know what to make of this. Because I mean, yes, in a sense, yeah. I'm sure if behind closed doors, maybe a Trump or somebody came to Netanyahu and was like, listen, buddy, this is what's fucking happening. Like I'm not messing with around. Like, you're not going to get money. Like, this is my heels are in the ground. I'm sure, yeah, I probably could get them to do what they're told. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, maybe there'll be some sort of threats or implications or something, that might not be the smartest move to do depending on the situation and what the thing is. But I will say, like, this is weird because Trump was not signaling this either. Like, he signaled very different. Now, once again, we can play this game of like, well, is it 5D chess? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what about any of the moves that he made would then signal this somehow ending up happening. Like, this would be such a ridiculous degree of, like, I don't know, calculating your opponent's move as a result of thing, like multiple orders from there. It would be weird, yeah. Voodoo says, told by you, in your opinion. I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to be more specific. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, let's get into some more stuff. Let me see. I wanted to talk about the Dorner story. I've actually never looked into Christopher Dorner, which I know this is kind of one of those characters that you hear amongst, I don't know, I want to say like the Boogaloo types, maybe would be the better way to put it, is a guy that you would hear about. You know, he's kind of almost like a hero, kind of like a Marvin Heimeyer, like a Killdozer, or and some other character. I mean, so I don't know the specifics of what this guy did. I mean, I always hear people bring him up, trying to kind of almost like an edgy boy thing. So I don't know. This will be today. We'll go through it together because I've never looked into his story. So it's been one I've always been interested in, but he's never really took the time to sit down and look. So we have Jason Bassler here of the Free Thought Project. He made a thread about it. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to look into it. This is also the 12th anniversary of his death yesterday. So it just seemed appropriate. So, all right, can't corner the Dorner until they finally did. On the 12th anniversary of his death, let's revisit the wild story of Christopher Dorner, the Navy lieutenant and ex-police officer turned fugitive who shook the city of L.A. and the LAPD to its core. Raised in Southern California, Dorner followed in his military parents' footsteps, serving the Navy before joining the LAPD in 2002, where he claimed to face racism and discrimination within the force. After being fired in 2008, Dorner's resentment began to build. Okay. So he got fired in 2008. He was upset. He felt racism and discrimination. Okay. Dorner committed service, reported fellow officers for excessive force, and tried to fix internal issues within LAPD. However, after his 2008 firing, he spiraled, leading to his manifesto entitled Last Resort, detailing his frustrations with LAPD's corruption and racism. Now, I will say the whole racism stuff makes me find it harder to really take it seriously. Now, if you're talking about excessive force, now I'm listening. So let's see if we can read this. Here is his. This is from Dorner to America. Subject: Last Resort. Regarding CF number 07004-281. I know most of you who personally know me are in disbelief to hear from media reports that I am suspected of committing such horrendous murders and have taken drastic and shocking actions in the last couple of days. You are saying to yourself this is completely out of character of the man you knew who always wore a smile wherever he was seen. I know I will be vilified by the LAPD and the media. Unfortunately, this is a necessary evil that I do not enjoy but must partake in complete for substantial change to occur within the LAPD and reclaim my name. The department has not changed since the Rampart and Rodney King days. It has gotten worse. The consent decree should never have been lifted. The only thing that has evolved from the consent decree is those officers involved in the Rampart scandal and Rodney King incidents have since promoted supervisor, commanders, and command staff and executive positions. The question is, what would you do to clear your name? Name, a word or set of words by which a person, animal, place, or thing is known, addressed, or referred to. Name synonyms: reputation, title, appellation, denomination, repute. A name is more than just a noun, verb, or adjective. It's your life, your legacy, your journey, sacrifices, and everything you've worked hard for every day of your life as an adolescent, young adult, and adult. Don't let anybody tarnish it when you know you've lived up to your own set of ethics and personal ethos. In 807, I report an officer, name removed, now a sergeant, for kicking a suspect, excessive force, during a use of force while I was assigned as a patrol officer at LAPD's Harbor Division. While cuffing the suspect, blank, kicks the suspect twice, and that's where it cuts off. So I'm assuming there's more. Come on. Oh, there we go. Enraged and seeking revenge, Dorner launched a deadly rampage, killing 4 people, 2 officers in a shootout, and 2 family members of law enforcement. The city went into lockdown, SWAT teams were deployed, and a $1 million reward was offered. LA was gripped with fear. All right. Amid the chaos, LAPD was on edge, recklessly shooting several innocent people during the manhunt. In one case, 8 officers fired 100-plus rounds at a truck that was the wrong make and color, injuring 2 civilians. None of the officers involved were ever held accountable. Well, that's ironic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen people say all the time, like, Dorner did nothing wrong and shit. Like, so far, I'm not saying that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Seems like he has like a glimmer of like, yeah, you're right. Now the racism thing comes off as frankly pretty fucking gay. I mean, depending on the example. I'm gonna need examples here, but if my knee-jerk reaction, you say, oh, I'm dealing with racism here, it's like, maybe. I mean, but it's like, it's kind of, show me something other than an ism. Show me like someone did you wrong. You're not just, oh, someone doesn't like me. I think someone doesn't like me. Because that's all that means is someone doesn't like you. Now, they may not like you because of your race, and maybe it's inappropriate, but like, give me an example. Because all that racism's saying is, I deal with people who don't like me. And you're like, I'm sorry, real bummer. I mean, you're going to have to give me an actual example other than just an ism. Sorry, there are going to be people in the world who don't like you. What now? That's kind of the way I look at it. So I need some sort of example of actual something happening other than just, I think people don't like me or something. Now the brutality, sure, but it still doesn't justify everything that happened. So I mean, I've heard some conspiracies here, but not knowing obviously the full story. So maybe there's something to that, but all right, let's keep going. After a week-long manhunt, Dorner was finally cornered in a cabin in Big Bear, California. Final standoff with law enforcement led to a fiery conclusion. Dorner was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, though debate still surrounds the circumstances of his death. Oh yeah, they probably killed the fuck out of him. Yeah, you don't do that sort of stuff and not end up with a crazy death. Typically, I mean, I guess there are ways that if you just like really publicly like surrender or something, you probably can get away with it. But yeah, I mean, read about Gordon Call. That didn't work out too well from him. All right, police deny starting the fire, but radio transmissions tell a different story, with officers saying burn it down and use the burners as they surrounded Dorner in a Big Bear cabin. Many believe police deliberately set the fire to ensure he never made it out alive. Oh, yeah, for sure. I didn't even realize they had the fiery conclusion. It said fiery conclusion, and the picture shows the thing burnt down. So I guess I should have put that together, but it didn't explicitly say it there in the previous one. But yeah, I guess, the place burnt down too, so that's nuts. Yeah, they clearly killed him. This is ridiculous. All right, let's watch this audio clip real quick.
Cole, tear that whole wall down, that door and that window. Make a big port window for me there. All right, Steve, we're gonna go forward with the plan with the burner. Got it. Want it like we talked about.
Yeah, it's clearly being incredibly vague on purpose.
7 burners deployed and we have a fire.
Copy, 7 burners deployed and we have a fire.
You guys be ready on the number 4 side. We have fire in the front. It might come out the back. Ready. It sounded like one shot fired from inside the residence.
Copy, 1 shot fired from inside the residence. Confirming you still want fire to roll in?
We're just bringing fire in about 200 yards out. Your call.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could probably jump to conspiracy. Obviously, I'd need to know more detail, but just on face value, thinking about it, maybe the idea was just to smoke him out, and maybe they knew there's a way for him to come out. Obviously, he's shown himself to have attacked, civilians and police, so I can totally see why you'd see be a threat. So I don't know. I think it makes sense to actually smoke him out in that situation. Assuming they know there's like another place for him to get out. And even then, let's be real. I don't know. They probably did go in there with intent to kill the guy, but I could totally also see like when he's literally being smoked out, he cornered that, hey, fucking put dome myself. Like why? Like why not? Why would I? Well, what's the point of sticking around at that point? Like, you're going to jail. I guess it depends on your perspective. I feel like I'm the kind of mindset that if I did something crazy, I'd just go to jail. Like, even if I knew it was going to be the rest of my life, whatever, I'll live in jail. I don't know, I'll find a cute little jail boyfriend. I'll figure it out. It's going to suck, not ideal, but I'd still get to live. But I know there's a lot of people that's like, nah, rather die. And I get it. I get either perspective. So I can totally see why, like, I'm just going to dome myself here. But, I mean, let's be real. I wouldn't be surprised if they killed them in the slightest also. So the Dorner saga sparked debates about police corruption, racial profiling, accountability. It also exposed how fast fear can consume police, costing taxpayer millions. Some see Dorner as a whistleblower exposing injustice, others as a ruthless killer. What's your take? Well, I'll say my take as of now, unless there's more information out there, fuck this guy. Seriously. All the people being like, oh, this guy's... I mean, you always see people, oh, Dorner did nothing wrong. And, like, once again, precluding me digging in and finding some sort of other information. This is a very short thread, so there's a lot that I don't know. But just on face value seeing this, yeah, it's kind of like, fuck this dude. If this is seriously what you say happened, that, oh, it was some cop and he was dealing with racism and some, examples of excessive force, and so he decided to, kill a couple cops and a couple civilians. I mean, honestly, to be completely honest, the former I could probably look past depending on the situation. Although I still think that's like completely a disproportionate response. But I could probably whatever. Hey, that's a cop. You can almost play it off as some sort of V from Vendetta shit. Like, you're getting back at these people for some awful. Let's say they killed some person. Like, whatever. You're doing vigilante justice. I'm not too upset about it at that point. Like, hey, some cop killed some dude 7 years ago, and you still have a grudge about it, and you do something about it. I'm not saying it's right, but I mean, far be it from me to complain about it. Like, that's kind of my perspective. But now, if you're talking about bringing family into it, which that's what they said, it was like family members. Now you're losing. You're losing the plot. I'm actively against you at this point. So that's kind of where I am. I don't know. This is one of these libertarian heroes. I don't really get why people point to them as libertarian heroes. He kind of, maybe I'm missing something big, but yeah, kind of very much fuck this guy so far. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys let me know. Am I wrong? Seriously, I'm kind of, this is a name I've heard thrown around a bunch. It's kind of like, I do want to look into it, and because it was like, hey, there might be something to it, but no, unless I'm missing something big. Oh man, you guys are really going into it about Israel in the chat, huh? Okay. I wasn't asking you, Jose. Oh, okay. No, you were just arguing about Israel. Got it. Let me see. I like Tulsi as part of the machine, says JMS. I respect her achievements, but systemic tyranny is still tyranny. Yeah. Boo boo. Let me see. Still going on about Israel. So let me see. Must mean racism against white people. No, I think when this happened was what? When did I say the date was? He said he died. He got kicked off the force in 2008. So I don't know. It's honestly, while I'm like, that's gay, it's still kind of believable because he's talking about L.A. and like in the late 2000s, and he did bring up the point that a lot of these people that were in the Rodney King riots, which was a really racially charged time, that now these people are like higher up. So that is a valid complaint, and you can be upset about it. But at the end of the day, your complaint is still that there are people in positions of power that don't like me, and you're like, do you want me to fire? You want to start a campaign to fire someone because they don't like you? It just seems like it's kind of a how do I put this? It just doesn't seem like it's going to work out in the long run. I don't know. Like if you're like, oh, let's get people fired because they don't like me. Well, I don't know. That might just entrench them in their position. Yeah. All right, cool. Going on about Jews. Here you go. Popo Medic did a good cover on this. You should watch it. I'm assuming you're referring to this. I don't know who Popo Medic is, but I mean, if you want to send it to me on Twitter or something, I'll check it out. All right. LAPD's crooked as fuck. I know LA sheriffs and hate them. Yeah. LAPD shot 2 other innocent vehicles thinking it's Dorner. Yeah, that was in the thread. We were just talking about that. He did shot other ones. Okay, let me see. Man, you guys are really cooking about the Jewish stuff in here. Someone said he's not a libertarian, but a boogaloo hero. Okay, and that's what I said initially, and that's kind of was my impression. But I'm like, it kind of leaks into libertarian. Yeah, so I can see why a boogaloo people are like, yeah, this is great. Oh, kill racists. Oh, Nazi lives don't matter. Like it's like lefty cringe bullshit. Like it's super fucking gay. For one, it's like, I don't know. Oh, you're just gonna go around the world like hitting racists and Nazis? It's like, I don't know, that might make them more racist and Nazi, and also likely you're gonna get your ass kicked. This is fucking stupid. Someone saying to start a BLM psyop. That does kind of fit into this psyop mentality for sure. Insane News joining us. Nice. All right. Well, anti-fascist BLM hero. Yeah, I can see that. It's super gay. Like this is because I've seen a lot of the boogaloo types who have said stupid shit like, oh, kill racist or this or that or like, it's because I don't know. Racism is just it breaks people's minds. You're like, and I don't know. I mean, I get it. I know, like I'm a white guy, so like, oh, so I don't give a shit. I mean, it's still true. It's just like complaining about someone not liking you. It's like I don't it doesn't. I know, it's just stupid. I mean, and I can just as much agree that it is stupid to dislike someone simply because of fucking, immutable characteristics. But, and we have Eddie here saying racism is fun and funny. And I agree. Racism is fun and funny. So, anyways, yeah. Let's see. You guys be nice. I see you guys in the chat. Be nice. All right, let's move on. Do you guys think, argue about this in the chat. Do you guys think Michelle Obama has a wiener? Because I thought it was funny that Elon Musk's dad does as well. So, I mean, I thought this would just be a nice change of pace after Dorner. So we have Elon Musk's father in an interview saying that Michelle Obama is a man. Also referencing Joan Rivers. But let's go and play this.
Michelle Obama is a man.
Of course. You don't know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan Rivers mentioned it publicly, and she was dead 2 weeks later, by the way.
You think
Oh, yes.
they axed her, eh?
The actor, yeah. So that's common knowledge. You can look it up on any internet thing.
I'm sure.
And, Michelle Obama's a man. Obviously, they've got, got pictures of her in tracksuits with a 9-inch slong hanging down.
All right, I like Elon. This is dope. All right, let's keep moving. LPR says he's a black cop version of the Killdozer, mentally ill and did the wrong type of revenge. For sure. Yeah. So there's a reason they call her Big Mike. The Michael is a man thing is played. Okay, it was funny. I get it. Yeah, I almost didn't bring it up just because, but I thought it'd be it's a quick little side. It's not even a full story, but it's funny. I just thought it's funny. Elon Musk's dad saying Michelle Obama has a penis. Pretty dope. And that is a fun little factoid. Joan Rivers did make some sort of comments. She was one of the first people to make the comments about it and then died 2 weeks later. So that's weird. Although she also was a plastic surgery monster, and old as fuck. So it's not that crazy she's dead. All right, guys. On to the next story. This is from Ken. So last week, the DOJ filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit Jeffrey Epstein's victims filed against the FBI for covering up his crimes. Shamelessly, the DOJ is essentially arguing the FBI had discretion to let Epstein operate with impunity. So let's go ahead and read this piece right here from Ken. All right. A group of Epstein victims is suing the FBI for allowing his trafficking network to operate with impunity, but the Bureau filed a motion to dismiss last week, arguing they had discretion to do so. The FBI's February 5th motion to dismiss is in response to 17 anonymous Epstein victims, as well as 2 that are named, Sandra Ward and Laura Newman. Those victims allege the FBI failed to take appropriate action in light of complaints made regarding Epstein and subsequently botched and covered up investigations for years, which they did. The FBI's motion to dismiss doesn't contest the victims' core allegation, but it argues that they had legal discretion to decide whether to let Epstein operate his sex trafficking ring. Plaintiffs point to non-discretionary duty that govern the FBI's decision-making. Absent such a mandatory directive, the FBI maintains discretion on how to follow up on tips of criminal conduct. Courts have made it clear that decisions by FBI employers on whether to investigate and follow up information they receive from the public are ones in which the FBI is afforded broad discretion, the Justice Department argued in the motion to dismiss. The FBI employees who received tips from the public were not constrained to take mandatory and specific steps during their assessment of the tips. FBI personnel retain discretion to determine whether a tip indicates a credible threat that is appropriate for FBI involvement, the DOJ argued. The Epstein victims have not yet filed their reply to the FBI's February 5th motion to dismiss. The survivors initially filed their lawsuit in New York in February 2024, nearly a year after they filed a complaint with the Justice Department over the matter. A judge there ruled that they couldn't proceed anonymously, so they refiled their case in D.C. last December. Now, just to sort of back up a little bit, this is very much seems like obviously this isn't a ruling. This is the FBI arguing on their app, but assuming this becomes a ruling, this is essentially the same as, I forget the name of the case, but there was the landmark case a while back. I mean, probably maybe a couple decades ago, where essentially it was determined. I forget which was it, the one on the train? I think it might be the one with the guy on the train where he got like attacked and there were cops there and they didn't do anything. It might be that one. But essentially there was a court case where it was ruled that cops have no legal right to protect. Like you have no legal right to protection from cops. Essentially, they are not compelled to protect you. Essentially. And that's kind of what this is saying. Like, I understand also to some extent what they're saying that, like, hey, we receive tips. We don't have to follow up every tip. But there becomes a certain, like, level where it's like, hey, you've got enough information and your job is you are literally the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And this is a international sex trafficking ring that you're receiving reports about. There comes a certain point where, like, you've crossed the threshold of like reasonable, like, hey, you're at a point where you should look into this. Like, you've received enough information. Like, let's look into this. You don't get to go, don't have to look into it and like not have to deal with anything later. Like, I feel like at a certain point you are liable. Like, this is your job. Like, your existence, we are robbed for your existence in order for you to do this. Like, you don't exist as a result of the market. Like, essentially you take money from us that we could use for such efforts, the efforts that you are there for. So you sort of kind of should be compelled to do this. Like, that's kind of what you exist for. And to the extent that you literally steal money from us that prevents us from having the money to be able to pay someone in the free market to do something similar, or to be able to somehow use the resources to make it happen. Essentially, you're sucking up resources for this purpose. And doing it in a non-voluntary manner. So it's like, I don't know. I think, yeah, you kind of are you should probably have to do that. I mean, I get it. Not every tip needs to be followed up on, because that's we just covered the Shapiro thing the other day. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, I kind of was making the opposite argument there. But like, if you looked at the claims that were being thrown around, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have followed up on that either. It seemed a little crazy. All right, their lawsuit recounts the FBI's long, sorry track record in the Epstein case, starting when the Bureau ignored a complaint from Epstein victim Maria Farmer in 1996. Between 1996 and 2006, the FBI continued to receive reports, complaints, and tips concerning the illegal sex trafficking of women and underage minors, sex abuse, and human rights violations committed by Jeffrey Epstein and associates. In March of 2005, the FBI was alerted by the Palm Beach Police Department of child prostitution. In fact, there was a 14-year-old girl who was solicited to Epstein's mansion for sex. Now, this seems categorically different than like the example I provided yesterday with Shapiro, with just some fucking broad somewhere making some claims about Shapiro. These are very categorically different. These are very different things. It makes sense for one to be followed up on and for one not to be. One, it makes sense that, like, hey, you should be held liable to some extent. I genuinely think the FBI should be held liable for not following up on this, because otherwise, why? Then there's no reason. It's just ridiculous. It makes no sense. I mean, the idea that they wouldn't be required to follow up on this, that there wouldn't be hell to pay. Looking back now and going, hey, you didn't follow up on this. Even when the FBI opened an investigation to Epstein in 2006, the result was a sweetheart deal where he pleaded guilty to solicitation of a minor in exchange for non-prosecution. Epstein served 13 months in jail, during which time he was allowed to leave for work released during the day. The FBI then closed its investigation in 2008, allowing Epstein to run amok for another decade. After Epstein's 2008 unusual plea deal, more reports, tips, and complaints were received by the FBI concerning sex with teenagers, minors, sex trafficking, and abuse. The lawsuit continued. The FBI was aware of Epstein's sex trafficking ring between New York, Palm Beach, New Mexico, Paris, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, which continued after Epstein was a registered sex offender, the lawsuit said. It was not until 11 years later Epstein was arrested on July 6, 2019, and charged with sex trafficking of minors and conspiracy. Epstein died in jail before the case could be prosecuted for these heinous crimes. The victims are asking for the court to award them damages for the FBI's negligence, and I think they should be, for sure. All right, let's. Yeah, that was a New York and a subway. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. I'm pretty sure that is it. Good luck. Someone says Epstein is the FBI. Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Epstein pedo ring is a distraction from Epstein's sperm banking / surrogate cloning. I mean, maybe, kind of. Someone's saying Joan Rivers never walked out of surgery. I mean, she also is I mean, that's also not that crazy. That's a pretty... I mean, you're not supposed to just, like, that's part of the drawback of like plastic surgery and like going under anesthesia. You're not supposed to do that regularly. Like it's not, it's anytime you go under anesthesia, there's a risk. So yeah. All right. Boo. All right. Why are we shocked? The feds run things, the traffickers, both drugs. I mean, I'm not shocked. It's just the idea that they're using this they're using this argument. It's just the idea that they would be so cavalier, essentially. All right, here's a follow-up. This is from Doctori 420. This is a follow-up on the sex crimes thing. He found an article on it that he said he went more into grooming with a purpose. So I figured we'd take a second, take a side, maybe scroll through this. I'll try to skim through some of it. So, obviously we talked about this yesterday. A special needs student in Colorado, sexually assaulted by a teacher. He was 16 years old. She tried to get him to bring a gun to school to shoot a fellow faculty member. Imagine KUer, ridiculous name. The defendant preyed on my son, leading him to believe she genuinely cared for him, all while exploiting him for money and manipulated him into thinking he was the one, the mom said. What makes this even more painful is that I trust the defendant. Had I known what was truly happening, I would never have allowed her such close access to him. Wow. She was a paraprofessional who worked at in November, the Lakewood police were called after a teacher at the school reported witnessing her inappropriate writing on one of the victim's class worksheets. The subsequent criminal investigation revealed that Ewer's favoritism toward the child was noticed by staff almost immediately, with evidence of an inappropriate relationship beginning in September 2023. DA's office says they uncovered evidence of frequent sexual encounters, constant digital communication, trove of text messages. She made it using derogatory remarks to put down the victim. It also said she introduced him to drugs, alcohol, and weapons, including a gun that she asked to use a teen to use on a colleague. And the thousands upon thousands of text messages that they would repeatedly assert she wanted the victim to bring a gun to their sexual encounters and even direct him to bring the gun to school and shoot another faculty member. So she had said, I just want to apologize to the victim's family. I'm really sorry this will never happen again. All right. Well, I didn't see much new in there, Doctor. I mean, there seemed to be a slightly new details. But yeah, no, definitely still weird. I mean, the money thing, I think, is a new detail I noticed. So, I mean, where is she getting money from? That's interesting. But yeah, this is bizarre. I mean, I don't know if there's more to it. But yeah. All right, let me check in on you guys real quick, see what you guys have to say, and then it might be one of these days we cut out early. Let me see. I didn't say. Oh, my bad. Okay. Well, geez, you guys are still arguing. You guys are still arguing there, huh? Man, I swear I did something else in here. Well, all right. I think that might be it for today, guys. For some reason I thought another one. I hope I didn't close out a tab. I swore I had another tab up somewhere, but oh well. Yeah. What the fuck? All right. Yeah, I swore another tab. I guess not. With that, guys, I guess we're probably gonna go and get out of here. This is an early one today. Did you see the red, white, and Blueland bill, Boba said? No, I did not. That's something you're going to have to tag me in or something, because I have not heard it. Dr. Dory says it seems like she was grooming him. Yes, I definitely can see. Oh, if that was the angle you were trying to get at. Yeah, she definitely was. I mean, I think there were some, quotes that kind of implied that yesterday. So obviously the article's a little bit more in depth, but so yeah, definitely does seem to point more towards that. Oh, you said you tagged me in something. I'll do that real quick. Let me check. If you tag me in Twitter, I'll bring it up right now. Bobo. Here we go. Or did you? The HR. Let me see. Let me see. Is it this? Real quick. Sorry, guys, if this is boring for you. Is this what you're talking about right here, Bobo? The Red, White, and Blueland Act of 2025. Here we go. Latest action. Sponsor, Representative Carter Earl, Republican. So this is in February 10th. The latest. So 3 days ago, referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs in addition to the Committee on National Resources for a period to be subsequently determined by Speaker. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't know what the hell this is. I mean, we got text here. Let me see. Text of the bill right here. Okay, to authorize the president to enter negotiations to acquire Greenland and to rename Greenland as Red, White, and Blue Land. Oh, that got me. That's oh my god, that's wow. Okay, all right, that was worth it. That was worth bringing up. That's funny. Red, white, and blue land. Is this fucking real? This is at Congress.gov. This is nuts. Okay, like I knew there was talks about taking Greenland. I didn't take any of it seriously. So I don't know. I guess they're moving on it. So it's referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs. So that's where it's at right now. So it's being referred to committees. Yeah, I don't know what all, what goes next. This is sponsored by Representative Carter. Okay, so no, this was, okay, so this is being pushed through. All right, this is in the House of Representatives. Mr. Carter has Georgia introduced the following bill, which was referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations, in addition to the Committee on National Resources for a period to be subsequently determined by Speaker in each case for consideration of such provisions as fall within the jurisdiction of the committee concerned. Bill to authorize the president to enter into negotiations to acquire Greenland and to rename Greenland as red, white, and blue land. All right. The act may be cited. The president is authorized to enter negotiations with the government of Denmark to purchase or acquire Greenland. There's renaming. I mean, yeah, I guess there's not a ton in here, but I mean, this is it sure is funny. That's for sure. I'll give it that. I mean, I don't care. I don't really particularly want us to take over Greenland. I guess I also don't particularly care. I'm not like really. I don't really think it really matters if we take over Greenland. I don't have a strong opinion, but it does seem pretty stupid overall. But it is hilarious. Red, white, and blue land. They think we are kidnappers. I think it's great personally. I think that is amazing. So yes, yeah, they're. Oh, Abrogate D's in here. What's up? All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here though. That's enough rambling for today. I'll try to have more for you. I mean, expect a packed weekend. I mean, I'm home alone this weekend, so it'll be me on morning dumps. Maybe Austin joining us, but I'll be there definitely tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So pop in for those. I'll be here. With that, guys, if you want to support what I'm doing, make sure to go over to patreon.com/nowayjose2020. The lowest level is $2. That gives you early access to the episodes. For example, like my the Vegas episodes, I have one dropping on tomorrow, but you would have had it for almost a week now if you're a patron, up on audio and video. So I have both up there. So if you can get the early access to stuff, you can do that. I mean, I'm recording again Sunday. I think I might try to record a couple extra episodes this weekend too. So if you're a patron, all stuff you're getting early. Also, at the $2 level, you can be a talking head on the call-in portion for a video call with me and Austin on Already Dead, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Also, you can get ad-free RSS feed that you can use in whatever podcatcher you prefer. You just you save the link and you drop it in there somewhere, and now you got an ad-free RSS feed. But also, they have my sponsors. There's a high end. I read them off every episode. My co-host on Tower Gang at Tower Gang Toad. Also have at Abrogate D's at ZOVRACK at _Infinite Zeal. Then also have Tim Tuttle at John on Klebold. Then Will Bell, Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine. Then big fan of the show, Torn May at INWARD Lover as well. Also make sure to leave a like if you are like watching this on YouTube or Rumble. Go leave a like. It helps out a ton and boosts up leave a comment too. Be like Bobo. You go drop a comment on every individually on the past 100 episodes or more. That'd be great if all of you guys did that. That'd be super cool. Also, if you are listening to this on audio, go leave a 5-star review on whatever podcatcher you're using. It helps out a lot. And Austin's currently beating me, you fucks. At least make it close. Come on, get it close. I think he's beat me by like 9 or something. But yeah, with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Love you all. Deuces.